Hello, hello. My name is Jacob Raposo, and today I'm gonna present about a game theory paper talking about Monsanto corporations versus the society. So these are the general contents for today. First, I'm gonna talk about genetically modified organism controversy, and then understanding its actors towards the problem, especially the Monsanto corporations, the society, and the opposition. And later on, I'm gonna talk about the game theory that have been made. So in the game theory, we're gonna discover all the of the Nash equilibrium to really understand how does this controversy will be resolved, and then the conclusions. So game theory is like the stable resolve that that's gonna happen. So what is GMO? GMO stands for genetically modified food, genetically food organisms that refers to crop plants and their products, which are created for consumption of mankind or animals. And GMO are known for its ability to to tweak the growing process, so that means like increase its growth, and then herbicide resistance so that it can avoid any insect and so on, and also it can make the taste to be much more tastier. But on the positive side, like GMO crops would could contribute to the food production and increase the higher food availability, especially in these present times where there are increasing populations of humans and so on. But the negative impacts is it is known that GMO can cause harm towards our organ, infertility. It can defect our immune system, and it can cause us some diseases. And then there are also GMO organisms that have a contamination behavior towards organic crops. Now let's understand the actors. So such famous GMO corporations is like Monsanto, Bayer, DuPont, Dow Chemical, and Syngenta. And then the second actors that we can look upon is the society in general. And then third one is the opposition of GMO, such as the organic farmers, environmental groups, and public health advocates like scientists and so on. So let's understand Monsanto. So Monsanto in their website, they aim to help farmers around the world to produce crops more efficiently using energy, water, and soil. And they have committed to for safety and human rights. But on the other hand, even though we understand its negative sides, but Monsanto right now its position in the world, its seeds are used like 93% of the US soybeans and 80% use of the US corns. And more than 280 million acres worldwide are using Monsanto products. And their facilities is very they have a good network. Like there are 404 total policy worldwide in 66 countries. And US alone, they have a total of 40% of US crop using Monsanto products. And regarding its impact towards the public health, as we know, they have a negative impact. And from the UN, like the United Nations and the World Bank, even already made a statement that are being backed by more than 400 international experts that GMO are controversial, and for its long-term usage, it will be harmful for nutritional consumption and chronic exposure. But why Monsanto and other GMO companies still existing? It's because of their lobbying with government agency. So if we observe during the Bush administration era, there are a Monsanto former attorney. His name is Michael Taylor, and he has a position, and he are allowed to have position in FDA as a deputy commissioner for policy and senior assessor to FDA, and that is why like such company like GMO like this still be able to exist nowadays and to be released in public markets. And from year to year, these are the amount of money that Monsanto used for lobbying in the government. And most of the board members have worked also with Environmental Protection Agency, like they have the position in there so that they have a lot of impacts towards decision making. This was the Department of Agriculture, Presidential Advisory Committees, they are in the university, International Trade Council, and Science Academy. And the most important insight is also that on the licensing agreement of every bag of Monsanto, they have the ability to sue farmers that do not follow Monsanto procedures. And Monsanto as a company has the capability to investigate field and record of farmers. And this one is also affects such like organic farmers like in Canada and United States, like samples in David Smyser. Like he has a case with Monsanto Canada Incorporation because his organic crops are being contaminated by the neighboring Monsanto crops. And as a result, even though it's Monsanto's fault and everything, the result of the legal case is that Monsanto doesn't have to pay for any loss that sneezers get. So yeah, Monsanto as a corporation actually have a lot of power on legal cases like this. So now let's understand the GMO controversy using a game theory. So this is the table that's been created. There are two actors that played in this role. There are Monsanto or the GMO corporation, and then the society in general with its oppositions or like normal people. The two choices they can do is to comply and then comply to GMO. Let's focus on the first option, where the society are complying to GMO and Monsanto are complying to GMO. So in this first option, of course, the society would be benefited with the higher accessibility, ease of farming crops, and disperse the effect of resistance that resulted in time and money. But on the other hand, they have health issues that already been described before and contamination of their organic crops. For society itself, they will be rated 2 out of 4 of their advantages. For Monsanto Corporation, of course, it's what they want. They want to comply with GMO. So they attain their goals and interests. So we can say it's 4 out of 4. So this is table that's been created. Okay, next is the second option, which is when the society complied to GMO, but Monsanto is done comply to GMO. What would happen? So basically, when society wanting GMO, but Monsanto, of course, doesn't comply with it, there's a demand for GMO, but without supply. So it's just indifferent, so 0 out of 4. And Monsanto, of course, they restrain from the goals and interests, so 0 out of 4. So you can write it 0, 0. Now the third option, when society don't comply to GMO, but Monsanto still comply to GMO. I think this is what the present moments are like throughout the years, what we've been feeling right now, like their fight right now. So in this part, So the society, when they don't comply to GMO, of course, they would have an ability to control the crops they want to do, like organics and so on. But then there are other society that can also benefit the GMO so that they can achieve higher profitability, and but they have to feel the negative impacts of the GMO too. So we can call it 3 out of 4 for the society itself. And for Monsanto, when because they want to make sure that they are still existing, they still need to do like the usual enforced lobbying, put executive on public institution, strengthen their legality, and with this they have a control to do towards the change, and they have a similar to our society like 3 out of 4, just to make sure that Monsanto still have existing even though they have received opposition from the society itself. Now the fourth option is basically when society don't comply to GMO and Monsanto also agreeing towards them like don't comply to GMO too. So this is the best safe haven for society. They achieve their goals and interests, and then they trade off higher food quality with public health. So we can say it's 4 out of 4. But then for Monsanto, they restrain from their goals interests, so 0 out of 4. So this is the final. This is the final table that has been made. And then if we analyze it, with using Nash equilibrium. So basically, we see the advantage and disadvantage for the two actions. So we just mark it where it's like best for each, and the Nash equilibrium that's been created, like the most stable possible outcomes that will be happen, is the third option, where society don't comply to the GMO and Monsanto still complying to the GMO. So in a game theory sense, we can see this case is similar to deadlock, where basically each actors are pursuing their own interests only. And then for more analysis, the gap between third option to first and third to the other is very big. That is why this happened. And as a result, Monsanto still has the upper hand, would probably resulting still existing towards the years and still be able to have their interests and so on. In society, even though there's still opposition, but they still cannot be freeing from the GMO effects. So that's basically the whole conclusion, that Monsanto Corporation will have upper hand, and it can be regarded that it's a deadlock situation. So thank you very much for listening towards this presentation.